Howdy, my name is Joan and I will be defending the insect Diaphorina citri or the Asian Citrus Psyllid.
Howdy, my name is Grace and I will be defending the insect Agrilus planipennis or the emerald ash borer. We will be discussing which would be the better invading species.
Asian citrus psyllids are found globally in tropical and coastal regions in countries such as Brazil and South Africa, but they are most commonly found in Southeastern Asia. Asian citrus psyllids are dangerous pests for citrus trees of most species, and they thrive in these warm climates as the citrus plants are more prosperous and heat resistant, which aids in the distribution of the disease they spread. As nymphs and adults, these psyllids will inject a bacterium called Candidatus liberobacter asiaticus, or simply CLA, while feeding on newly developed citrus tree leaves. The CLA causes greening disease in citrus trees, and once the tree is infected, there is no saving it. The disease effects on citrus trees are detrimental as it makes the citrus fruits bitter and hard, the leaves will form a yellow discoloration, and the twigs may experience dieback. As mentioned earlier, there is no cure once the tree is infected, so the only options are to use pesticides or antibiotics, or slow down the pathogen, or to destroy the citrus tree altogether. However, the pesticides and antibiotics have been decreasing in effectiveness as both the psyllids and CLA are becoming less susceptible to the chemicals. Additionally, increased use of pesticides is harmful to the plant's health, so farmers have had to make the sacrifice between the increase of pesticides or increased risk of psyllids. Finally, the economic consequences of the Asian citrus psyllids have been detrimental to citrus productions across the nations. For example, Florida, a key producer of oranges, experienced a 74% decrease in the production of oranges from 2006 to 2019. If not controlled, who can predict what the future production and economical challenges will be to the citrus market?
The emerald ash borer is an exotic insect that was introduced to the United States from Asia through woodpacking materials. The name emerald ash borer is often shortened to EAB. The EAB species belongs to the Buprestidae family, which is known as a wood-boring species. This beetle species is highly invasive and destructive, as they have killed millions of ash trees since their invasion in 2002, when they were first found in the United States. Every species of ash tree has experienced a significant decline in its population due to the behavior of the emerald ash borer. Adult emerald ash borers feed on the ash leaves, creating a loss of foliation. The beetles produce around 50 eggs, which are laid individually within the bark of the ash trees, eventually leading to larvae hatching and entering the tree. The larvae feed on the tree phloem and cambium. This material is essential to keep the tree growing and allows food to be passed along. They continue burrowing, which damages the plant's ability to transport nutrients. After the larvae complete their 5 instars, the beetles begin pupating for 1 to 2 weeks, and then the adult emerges from the tree, leaving a D-shaped hole. The combination of foliage loss and damage to the tree's ability to transport nutrients causes the canopy to thin, eventually leading to the tree's death. Ash trees are essential to ecosystems by providing resources for other life forms, including food and habitats. Disrupting such a strong foundation in an ecosystem causes a significant loss of biodiversity. Harm to the ash tree population also affects human society because humans depend on the wood produced by the trees. Its considerable contribution to the conversion of carbon, and it is commonly used for shade and cooling. Overall, the emerald ash borer species creates many ecological and economic problems for human society and various ecosystems, making them a dangerous invasive species.
Though it's difficult to target the larvae feeding within the tree's body, there are several methods of treatment that have been effective in targeting the larvae at their most crucial phase, reducing the major damage caused by the emerald ash borer. Whereas I mentioned earlier, the methods to counter the Asian citrus psyllids have been continually decreasing in effectiveness. Additionally, compared to the 50 eggs that the female beetles oviposit, the Asian citrus psyllid can lay up to 800 eggs in their lifetime. It only takes a few psyllids to break down the tree and kill it over as short as 5 years. So imagine the impact of 800 eggs over the span of a field of citrus trees. The citrus market, such as lemon, limes, and oranges, is negatively affected by the greening disease on their trees. The production of oranges alone in the US decreased by 72.2% from 2007 to 2018, and in response, the price of oranges became at least 3.2 times more expensive. People worldwide are having more difficulty accessing a source of vitamins, fibers, and a natural way to reduce unhealthy cholesterol levels. The psyllids are not just affecting the market for food, but also society's health.
While there are ways to treat ash trees from an emerald ash borer infestation, the treatment is very costly. To treat ash trees, you can inject insecticides into the tree. However, the insecticide must be repeatedly injected every 2 years and is still not certain that this will kill the pest. Additionally, the treatment of an infested tree is unreliable due to the loss of foliage. Without a canopy, the tree will not survive harsh conditions, so treatment is ineffective, making the expensive treatment not worth the cost. It would be more beneficial to cut down the ash trees, which does not help the issue of saving their population. The damaging effects of the Asian citrus psyllids are evident as the species negatively affects the citrus market. However, the destruction can also be managed by releasing natural enemies and pesticides. The Asian citrus psyllids have more natural enemies than the emerald ash borer. For example, their predators include insects such as spiders, wasps, lady beetles, and hoverflies. Overall, while there is a treatment for emerald ash borer infestations, there is also treatment for the Asian citrus psyllids, and there are more possibilities when it comes to biological control with natural predators.
Though Asian citrus psyllids can be controlled using predators such as wasps and lady beetles, the psyllids are not the predator's only source of food. It would have a significant impact on the population of the psyllids if all their predators focused on feeding on them. However, their diet also includes other soft-bodied insects. Also, the argument of controlling the insects using natural predators also applies to the emerald ash borer, since they also have predators such as woodpeckers and predatory wasps. I think it's reasonable to conclude that the argument for psyllids can be being easier to control due to natural predators is void, since the same argument can be applied to the borer population, yet both are still actively invading trees with no clear solution in sight. The cost of treating the ash trees do outweigh the benefits if the infestation has progressed significantly. However, the ash trees can be removed from the environment to dilute the damages of borers. The infected citrus trees, however, contain significant costs to remove even one infected tree due to its contagious nature. It could possibly lead to the eradication of several hundred or even thousands of citrus trees.
Ash trees can be removed from the environment to stop further emerald ash borer infestations. However, the species is not completely eradicated when cutting down trees and moving wood. The species is difficult to completely remove from an ecosystem because the larvae remain in the tree's wood. The species can travel long distances due to this issue. When moving ash tree wood, the EAB travels with it. This means that it can travel 55 miles per hour or more. This makes the emerald ash borers extremely dangerous because once it is removed from one environment, it can spread to another very quickly. Due to the insect's ability to travel rapidly through wood products and firewood, their infestation of trees has killed over 100 million ash trees, and their population has spread worldwide. Their effects are so deadly to the ash tree population that international transport regulations have had to be implemented to keep the species from spreading. Overall, while the Asian citrus psyllids carry contagious bacteria, they do not travel the way the emerald ash borers do. The EAB species is difficult to manage and spreads like wildfire since the wood they infest is so commonly used in human society all across the globe.
Asian citrus psyllids are an invasive species that have been destroying the citrus trees globally by feeding on nutrients from the tree's tissues and by injecting them with CLB, causing greening disease. Greening disease has infected up to 90% of trees in Florida's citrus operations, attributing to a 41% yield loss for the farmers. Researchers have been striving to discover effective ways to decrease the negative impact of these psyllids and perhaps find a cure for the disease. Past studies have conducted a dissection of the transmission of the greening disease in order to discover more sustainable and environmentally friendly methods of control. One study observed the effect of controlling RNA genes from the psyllids to see if there's a way of manipulating RNA sequences in citrus trees to prevent the psyllids from feeding on the citrus. The study discovered that certain RNA binding proteins have revealed a potential solution that deters the psyllids from citrus feeding and may even kill them if they feed on the citrus with the RNA genes. Additional studies have also revealed more natural methods of control that will provide owners with more economic and safer methods of controlling the psyllids and related pests. A decrease in the use of pesticides will indirectly benefit the environment due to less chemicals being released in food sources, animals, and water. Further studies will continually open doors to longer-lasting solutions to pests such as the psyllids, which will decrease the economic and medical consequences from loss of citrus trees and other important food sources. However, until proper solutions can be discovered, I will conclude that the Asian citrus psyllid is the more invasive species.
Little information was known about the emerald ash borer population until the discovery of their infestations in the Michigan forest in 2002. After their emergence in U.S. ecosystems, research has been conducted to determine just how deadly their behavior is to the ash tree population. Entomologists have investigated what species of ash trees the emerald ash borers have most affected, why the species is attracted to the ash tree population, and the most effective way to detect emerald ash borer infestations. Additionally, more research has been conducted on how to control and treat the infestations after the accidental introduction of the species to American environments. Studies are continuously being held to determine the effects of different insecticides on the insects and how the release of wasps contributes to the biological control of the emerald ash borer population. Entomologists are investigating the most efficient way to capture EAB adults, which allows researchers to examine the species biology, including their mating behaviors and life cycle. This species is important to study because their destruction will continue negatively affecting human society if the species is not controlled. Ash trees are important to us economically due to their production of wood and timber. It is also essential to other species because of the resources it provides to many organisms in various ecosystems. The species is also commonly used in rural and urban landscapes, and it is an important species for farmers to help keep livestock cool. Additionally, we need species like ash trees to continue providing oxygen in our atmosphere. Overall, I believe the emerald ash borers are the most invading species because of its ability to travel long distances at a fast rate, and they directly infect the trees they feed on by burrowing into the bark, leaving the tree very difficult to treat.